Hello, everyone. I'm back. I don't know if you can hear me. If you can hear me, let me know. I'm trying to sort out my audio. Let me confirm if everyone can hear me first. This story is very interesting, but yeah. Yeah. If you can hear me, please give me a thumbs up. Oh, you can hear me now. Oh, praise the Lord. It was it was the devil. When the devil is trying to make sure that this channel doesn't, go to places where it's going. But relation back. So thank you, Sister Ife, for joining me live. This is the crux of starting a channel. Actually, it's kind of very tough to start a channel. One, coming up to be online. Secondly, getting all the when you're not a techie person, not that techie, it's always kind of very hard. But yes, I'll go straight to the story. Yeah. Okay. Thank you very much for confirming that it's okay now. Yeah, so I have to start all over again. So this is the story of a brother who was raised in a church, a prominent church. The church is called Deeper Life in Nigeria. I'm not. I don't care to not to mention the name. I will mention the name. The name of the church is Deeper Life. The church so destroyed this brother's childhood to the extent that it affected his choices of marital persons. This brother, in his letter to me, said that um, he was so abused. His parents were pastors in that church. So all they know, brainwashed to know, is that heaven is the only place that we must go. Without heaven, there is no life. So they are focused on going to church. The parents of this brother practically just tried to make sure that this brother goes to school, of course, to the best schools that was affordable at that time. But the truth was, if they had their way, the brother would go to just church alone and church alone, because heaven is the goal. This same heaven that they don't even know where there's nobody that has gone there and come back. Anyway, let me go straight to the story. He knew nothing other than to go to church. There was no television. You can't use television. If you use television, it's a sin. The parents cannot wear clothes that are very expensive, because if you like, he said his mom cannot wear laces. His mom cannot wear laces. His mom will only use very expensive Ankaras and all these things. And just I'm sure if there's any Nigerian listening, will know this church I'm talking about. So he had a very horrific childhood. I would say childhood, but he said his childhood actually partly shaped who he is today, because to an extent, he's a good guy today because of the doctrine, some part of the doctrine that he was taught. But the church abused him, abused his childhood to the extent that he turned out to be a co-dependent. He turned out to be a people pleaser. How did he turn out to be a people pleaser? Was because his parents had to make sure that he was abused to the extent that he had to be pleasing them to make sure that he needs to please them to get their favor. So in everything he does, he has to consider his parents first. He has to ensure that his parents are happy. So he will always go to school, come home with the best of scores, best results so that his parents will be happy, and oh, that's the only time he can get their favor. He told me specifically that there was a time when his mom will abuse him, will shame him publicly because of, yes, Sister Ife, thank you. He was always seeking for their love. He was always seeking for mommy's love. There was a time in his childhood that he was bedwetting till the age of like 14, 15. And his mom will put him out there to his colleagues. Mom would disgrace him, publicly. Probably in church, he will call his age mates and say, hey, Femi is bedwetting. You guys should sing on him. He's bedwetting. He's not ashamed that as grown as he is. This is just a child. You understand? This is just a child who probably could not, because of shame, because of shame, he could not control his urinary system. And then, children are very playful. And when children are very playful or they eat late night meals, there's tendency that, this will occur. This is just, children. But he was abused. So he would always want to please his mother so that his mom will not go and shame him out there and all that. Fast forward to his adulthood, he became a people pleaser as well in choosing partners. Now, the crux of this broadcast is that he now, he said he was excellent with his studies. He went to the best of schools. He went to the best of universities. The things that he was not able to practice while he was a child, he could not, do what children are supposed to do. He started doing them. The television that they were never supposed to watch, he bought television of course, that's a normal thing on campuses. He had to buy all sorts of television. He would date all sorts of women because he didn't have the opportunity to have boyfriend or girlfriend, because in quote is a sin, and if you do that, you're going to go to hell. So when he got to the university, he became very, ballistic. He was out there enjoying himself. Well, practically so, because this, of course, is a young guy. He had the opportunity to, meet all sorts of women. He was, enjoying himself. Fast forward to when he was going to make a choice of partner, because his parents know not better in, educating him on how to make choices and on how to choose a partner, other than Proverbs 31 chapter, Proverbs 31 woman, thou shalt obey thy husband, whatever nonsense they are teaching them in the Bible, right? This parent doesn't know more than that. This parent does not know the practical aspect of choosing a wife. They probably know, but they didn't teach him. So he told me in his letter that his own choice of, partnership or spouse is that the woman has to be beautiful. It must be a gorgeous woman. It must be a woman that is pleasing to the eye. So while he was carrying on with his banking career, he met a lady, he mentioned their names, but I don't want to say their names right here. He met a lady, they were dating, took the lady home, and the parents did not, in quote, thank you, Sister Ife, there's nothing as painful as knowing you are not loved by your own mom. Yes. So I didn't just want to say everything that he wrote in that email, but I think it was terrible. He had very horrific experience with the mom. The mom, the lady that he took home, the mom actually rejected the lady. Right there and then, the mom rejected the lady, because God knows why, but she just rejected the lady. So in the process of rejecting the lady, he was dumbfounded. He felt bad, they went back to their base with the lady, and the lady felt bad and all that. They had to split. Fast forward, he met a lady who is very beautiful, very gorgeous looking, took the lady home, and the mom just accepted. He told me that just because the mom was pleased, he went ahead and got married within 3 months. I don't want to go too fast with this story, but let me come up with lessons learned here. The first lesson that I feel that want you learn here is that let children have their childhood. I was opportune to go to the university to learn something called youth mental health. When a child is growing up, when a child is just born, they are just like an empty slate, or they are more like an empty vessel. So whatever you're pouring in there, whatever you put in there, is what the child will grow up with. So when you're pouring into a child hate, you're pouring into a child shame, you're pouring into a child religiosity, you're pouring into a child disgust. That's what the child will grow up with. Don't take their childhood from them. Thank you, Sister Ife. Don't take children's childhood from them. Let them grow up enjoying their childhood. There's going to be a time in a child's life when the testosterone will run in their body. There's this puberty stage where a child is, already having that sign of puberty, and it comes with the desire for a partner, for the desire for a fellow, an opposite, partner. So this period are the period where you need to educate the child and let the child know that, look, this thing is right. In short, give them guidance. It's right, but this and these are the bounds. This is how far you can go with this, and this is how far you shouldn't go. But this guy lost all of this. He never had this childhood. He never had this parental guidance. He was not taught all of this. That's one of the lessons I could pick up from there. Secondly, it is important as parents to teach our folks, our children, on choices, in choosing partners. Educate them about how to make informed choices in terms of dating, in terms of marriage. I don't know. It's not, choosing a partner shouldn't just be based on the word of God. It should be based on background check. It should be based on getting to know the person properly. Allowing your folks, your children, to date each other properly before they come together and say they are getting married. From the story of the brother, he married this lady under 3 months. He said they met in April and they got married in July. So they met between April and married in July. They never knew each other. They never dated. They never did anything together. They just jumped from knowing each other into getting married. I need to now go deep into the story of the first one. So when they got married, apparently this brother is a Yoruba brother, married somebody from the Niger Delta area. I don't want to mention the state specifically, but married from the Niger Delta area. This lady, of course, I give it to the brother. Like he said, the lady is gorgeous, beautiful. They got married sometimes in 2007. They had a child together, a boy. So it was in the marriage that the brother got to, start. It was in the marriage that he started dating the woman. It was in the marriage that he got to know that this woman doesn't even know how to cook. It was in the marriage that he got to know that this lady's family, the background, like I said earlier, the background matters. This lady's background is horrific. As in, the family are not even together. I think this is because the father of the lady died early, so there wasn't coercion. Before their father died, there was, parental, how will I put it? Parental child favoritism, where parents will show favoritism to a particular child. So I said mine. The guy's wife was the father's favorite, not the mother's favorite. So when the father passed, the lady, because it was a favorite to the father, wasn't a favorite to the mother, had clashes with the mother. So they were not so close. So there wasn't, apparently, in her life, it was more like she doesn't have any parent again. So the mother tilted towards the siblings, the junior ones, because she was the first. So the mother tilted her love towards the junior ones. So she didn't have adequate parental love and care. So it was more like two negative poles hitting each other. So it was like, it was explosive. In the marriage of about 4 years, the brother said it was more of turmoil. It was ups and downs. He told me he was not a saint in the marriage. He was, like I said, because he didn't have a good childhood. He was all over the places, and as most men would always want to cheat outside of their marriage. But it wasn't an excuse. But he told me that I think it was after the wife gave birth to their child that she now hated, sex, and she was, not forthcoming in terms of the bedroom activities. So this brother was stepping out. She caught him, and it became the bedrock of mistrust. They started having issues. There was a crack in the marriage, and the issue grew. As the issue grew, this brother was going on with his career. There was a banking crisis in Nigeria, and there was a need to lay off people. The brother was affected. He specifically told me he was working in Intercontinental Bank then, when the past emir of Kano, Alhaji Sanusi, laid off a lot of banking staff, and this brother lost his job. Before the brother lost his job, he told me that he was working in Abuja. He was working in Abuja, and the wife, who went to the UK to give birth to their son, came back to Nigeria, and because she was also in the bank, but she was not working in Lagos. The mother lives abroad, lives overseas, specifically in the US. That's the mother-in-law of this brother. Lives in the US, but has a house in Lagos. The house, when you don't live in a house, the house will be dilapidating. So the mother advised the brother's ex-wife to move into that house so that the house will not dilapidate. She should now get a transfer from wherever she was working back to Lagos, so that she can be working in Lagos, take care of that child in Lagos, and then live in that house so that the house will not, get destroyed. So the lady, the ex-wife, stayed in the mother's house and was living there. Fast forward, Sanusi, the emir of Kano, laid off banking staffs sometimes in 2009. I think I can remember what the brother is. He said December specifically 2009, they were laid off during the banking crisis. So the brother who was living in Abuja had to move to meet his wife in Lagos. And now, if he's moving to Lagos to be with his family, he's going to move into his in-laws' house. So moving into his in-laws' house, which is literally a taboo in Yoruba land, that anyone should move to an in-laws' house, that was the beginning of the end of their marriage. He moved into the in-laws' house. On moving into the in-laws' house, the ex's sister was also living with them. Please remember, he said that the family of his wife, they were not Yoruba, so they don't understand the custom of Yorubas about not living in, in in-laws houses. In fact, he told me that the nanny of their son, of their son, told him when he lost his job, when he moved into the house, that he told me that Daddy Tokpe, let me say it in Yoruba, Daddy Tokpe, tọ́ta yín bá kú sínú ilé yìí, ojú window náà máa gbókùn yín gbà. Let me interpret that in English. The nanny was telling him that if he ever pie in the house, if he ever pie in that house, that they're going to take his corpse through the window. And I laughed. I said, "Oh my!" So he kept staying there because of the boy, because of his son. He kept staying in that house, looking for job, begging God for jobs and all that. But the job was not forthcoming, and he was believing God that someday the job will come. But for 2 years, the job was not coming. For 2 good years, he kept staying in the in-laws' house. He was having all sorts of insults. The wife became the provider. The wife was the sole provider. The wife will, she had all the power because, of course, she's the one that is, playing the piper now. So he who plays the piper, dictates the tune. And she was just, taking charge of everything. Of course, the brother told me that he was a very responsible brother when they were married. He was responsible in terms of taking care of his home. His home was not suffering, so he didn't have any problem with that. So when let me remember the story again. When he got to a point when he now found out that his problem was more than just the ordinary, like in Africa, specifically in Nigeria, we are very spiritual, and he sought the face of God. And God told him specifically that in-laws house where you're living is not where you should be. As long as you're living in the in-laws house, as long as you're laying your head under their roof, under that building, you will not have headway. This brother took the courage, told his wife that they should move out of that house so that he can, heed to the call of God that says you need to leave your in-laws' house. It is a taboo to live under your in-laws' abode, else you will not progress, you will not move forward. So he told his wife. Apparently his wife was happy with his situation. The wife was happy with the fact that he doesn't have a job. He told me specifically in the letter that the wife at a point got hello Lucas, good to have you here. His wife got a loan in the office, car loan, and the husband is jobless. So meanwhile, the husband is a graduate, a 2-1 graduate, a master's degree holder with 7 years banking experience. The wife will not even make attempts for him to get a job. The wife's friends will come to the house and say, bring your husband's resume. We have openings in this bank, Access Bank or something, or some banks were recruiting. But the wife will say, no, my husband doesn't need a job. My husband is fine. The wife will got about 1.2 million in 2010 to 1.2 million to car loan back then to go and buy a car. You know, she was working in the head office. She's a big girl. So she got this loan, and the husband begged her and said, look, bring this money. Let me go meet grandma in the US. Then you guys will come and join me. The wife said, no, I will give you 500,000. You will, because the house is big, the mother's compound is big. That's the mother-in-law's compound is big. So she said, go and start fish pond somewhere there in the corner. Just be rearing fish. That's somebody who has a master's degree, who's got 7 years banking experience, the friends were already saying, bring your resume, let me get your husband a job. She said, no, we rather just, let's have our own business. Let's start raising fishes. And the balance of the 1.2 million, we will use it to renovate my mother's house so we can make my mother's house more comfortable for us to live in. The brother said, no, we are Yoruba. We don't live in our in-laws' house. She said, no, Yoruba. Okay, so now that you don't have a job, where are you going to get a job? 2 years you have been in this house, you don't have a job. In Yoruba, she said, I was like, the guy was like, why would you tell me that I won't get a job? I have all the qualification. I have master's degree. I have worked in top banks in Nigeria. You know, I was trained. The brother was trained by Mastercard. You know, that was his first job. He worked with Mastercard, EcoBank, Nigeria. So he was like, no, I'm going to get a job. But the sister was like, no. The wife was like, no, you're not going to get a job. You stay in the house, just be rearing fish and all that. And you know, the mistake the brother said he made was that when he was working in Abuja, there was a garden where they used to go and eat fish on every Friday if he doesn't travel to see his family, because he said he goes to his family every 2 weeks, bi-weekly, to go and see his family. So because this brother was enterprising, he went to this guy in the garden to go and learn how to do this fish. The fish they wrap in Nigeria, they call it barbecue fish. He went to learn it, went back to Lagos, went to a nightclub to start, doing the fish. Before you know it, this brother started, making a lot of money. But the wife went to discourage him again that, no, you cannot be doing this. Like when he first started, the wife drove to the nightclub and tell him, oh, have you learned your lessons now? At least your humility, your shakara in Abuja, it has come down now. All this, you will learn your lessons by knowing that, okay, when you're a big boy banker, you don't do shakara to your family or something. But the brother told me that he was never doing shakara. He was just, doing his bits as a man to take care of his own. Don't forget that I said that the brother was raised in a Deeper Life church. In that Deeper Life church, he told me specifically that what he remembers his father taught him was that he who does not take care of his home is worse than an infidel, that he must provide for his home. And that's one good lesson that his father taught him. So he was always taking care of his home. He has no reason to not take care of his home or take care of his son. So he was doing his bit as a husband and a father. In fact, he told me specifically that he got his wife 2 nannies, one nanny for the son and one housemaid for herself, so she doesn't do anything. The lady was living in luxury. It was until he lost his job that he had to let one of the nanny go, which is the younger girl, that they can't afford 2 nannies. So one should stay to take care of the boy while the wife still goes to work. Now, to fast forward, the wife said, I am not going with you. Why will I leave this house to This is a free house. Where did you get the money to go and rent a place out there so that we will? Yes, I think he should have left the house. But of course, apparently he left the house. Just take it easy. You will enjoy this story. He said, look, in Yoruba land, we don't stay in in-laws' house. We have to leave. And if you are my wife, you have to go with me. The lady said, no, I am not going anywhere with you. This is my mother's house. This is a free house. We live in a free house. Where on earth will you get money to go? You're laughing. Where on earth will you get money to go and rent a place? You're not working. Where did you get money? Unknown to the lady, because the brother knew that he was in a trap, staying in an in-law's house. The father of this guy had died and had left them some money in the bank. There was some wealth passed on to this brother. So this brother had, of course, after the burial, they've split. He is the first child, so they have splitted the father's wealth amongst his brothers and their mom. So everybody has gotten there. So this guy was into money when the father had died. So he had some cash that he could use to rent a place that was going to be very comfortable for the family. Don't forget that he was told in church that until he leaves his mother-in-law's house, he will never make headway, because that it's even a taboo already in Yoruba land that you are living in an in-law's house. So what he now did was, just to be clear and to ensure that he did the right thing, he took the right step. He said he went to the ex's uncle, because of course the family of the wife were in support of his wife. So he went to meet the ex's uncle to say, uncle, I'm talking to your niece. This is the problem. This is the problem. I told her, let's go out and all that. She said she's not living with me. You know what the brother told me that the uncle said? The brother wanted to come live, but he was shy. He would have joined us live. The brother said the uncle told him that your parents are pastors. Your parents are Yorubas. Both parents are Yorubas. When you are moving into my auntie's house, did they tell you the implication of moving into my auntie's house? I said, yes. The brother said, yes, they told me. And I said, so whatever you get there, that's it. Do you even see me in my auntie's house? Because the children are not raised properly. Why are you staying in that house? What you should do is this. As an elder, I would advise you, do this. Split your property into three. Split your property into three and move them one after the other. Make sure that she's right there watching you move your property. So the brother moved the first property, told her, oh, look, I started moving out. Oh, what's your plan? Are we moving in together, or you still want to, stay in your mother's house? She said, go to hell. I don't care. Just go and leave whatever you want to do. I don't care. The second day, the brother moved the second property. The brother did all this. The third property, the brother moved, and that was how the marriage ended. The lady chose to be in her mother's house. The lady didn't truly love the brother. The brother told me that it was not more than 1 month out of that house when he got 3 jobs, 3 offers. Three jobs in a month. He had to choose which one to go for. He chose the best, apparently. He became a regional manager. He became a really very big boy in Nigeria. The wife wanted to come back, but he was like, no, I'm done. I don't want to be with a fair weather lady. It apparently shows that the lady was with him when it's a good time and doesn't want to be with him when it was the bad time. The lady had rather written him off, and God knows whatever she had done spiritually that require that he stays there and become, poverty reading. Now, this brother, started enjoying himself. He got his divorce, and the marriage ended. He was a responsible father. The ex, because the ex wanted him back, would always use the child against him. Would always, turn the child to be like a pawn in the chess, in the game. Turn the child to be a plaything within both of them. The brother told me that till today, he doesn't speak to the child. The mother of the child, the ex-wife, had actually, caused a rift, as God knows what she has told the child, and the father and son are no more together. The father doesn't even know the whereabouts of his son today. But of course, his friend, because he's having tentacles everywhere, his friend told him that they moved to the UK. They are somewhere in the UK, but they're not talking. Now, this brother became a regional head, was making money, started traveling back all over the world, and the mom advised him to go back to the ex-wife. He said no, he's not going to go back there. That he would rather go to hell. Remember, he came from deeper life. Said he would rather go to hell than go back to the ex-wife. So the mother was like, okay, if you cannot go back to this woman, why don't you get married to someone else? At least, don't forget, his father had died. So at least I will come to your wedding, but this will be the last. Of course, definitely this will be the last wedding that I would be able to, witness. I'm not going, because of my doctrine in deeper life, I cannot witness another marriage. So this brother, married the first wife based on beauty. He was marrying for the wrong reasons. He married the first wife based on beauty and all that. Now, because his mother has mandated him, I don't want you to have one grandchild for me. I want you to go ahead and get married again. Somebody just introduced, one of his staff just introduced a lady to him in the office. And he started this relationship. And, this brother went into, of course, the way we started carrying themselves in bed, started having this relationship. And this brother said his favorite on a woman is his mammary gland. He was more interested in a woman's mammary gland, that the attacker, he prefers the attacker than the defense. So this lady in question had enough attack, and they started, and this thing was great. The kerewa was great. We call it kerewa because of YouTube YouTube rules. So this brother went into another crazy. In fact, this one was worse. With the story I heard, this was worse. This lady was 14 years younger than this brother. 14 years younger lady than this brother. So this this lady was there for what she can get. So she bounced on the brother. The brother was, of course, is someone with means. So the lady was coming from down there. I'm not trying to derogate the lady he talked about, but the lady was from a polygamous home, from a home where the father and the mother were already separated. So, and she is the second most beautiful in the home, and she was out there fending for herself. She was on the streets fending for herself. So this brother, like I said, this brother was a co-dependent, was a people pleaser, because the parent had raised him to be a people pleaser, someone who would do anything to please people. So meeting this lady was not just a people pleaser, was a taker, was a parasite. It was not just a parasite, it was a narcissist. So she latched on the opportunity and started sapping this brother dry. But because this brother was a people pleaser, someone without boundaries, someone who was taught to please people by his parents, someone who was raised in a church where you do unto men, love all men with peace. And what did they say that nonsense? Love, whatever. Just be with all men in peace. Don't quarrel with people or something. Don't just be with peace with all men. Live in peace with all men and holiness, without which no man shall be with the Lord or something. I'm not saying that Bible verse is wrong or something, but it should be explained better to say, as much as you're trying to love others, you should love yourself first. This brother will do just everything to please this lady, will please her family, will please everything that has to do with her, just to make sure that she loves him. He was desiring love. To worsen the case for this brother was the fact that he had been divorced the first time. So he didn't want a repeat of it. While they were cutting, they cut it for about a year. This lady will beat this brother. That is why I set up this channel. Some men are being beaten in their marriages. This lady will raise her hand on this brother, will slap, will beat, and very violent. You know, this brother told me that it was after the whole thing that he had to go for therapy. So it was in therapy that he found out that people that were raised in, that were not raised with love, people that were raised in quote unquote polygamous family, knows nothing but violence. They get their way. They want to have what they want through violence. So he went ahead, even when he saw all the red flags. What are the red flags? When they were dating, this lady stylishly crept into his life, stylishly brought his family to creep into his life. They moved into his life. They moved all themselves, the siblings, their mother, everybody was moving into his life. He never knew it. He just thought he was love. And it was because he didn't have boundaries. So he told me that as time went on, they tried for children. The lady would never have children. He caught these ladies with messages from other men. The lady would sometimes be in touch with the ex-boyfriend who left her because he met her when the ex-boyfriend had moved to America. She was alone in Nigeria. She was hurting. They were always having issues, quarreling and all that. So a big boy came around, took her, and started dating her. But she was still in love with, I think the boyfriend was the first love. So she was in touch with the boyfriend. I don't want to drag this life too far. This story, this is the worst of the case for this brother. When they wedded, the brother sponsored the whole wedding. The brother built a new house, built a house in her name. They did everything together. She was living in a 4-bedroom, he said. Yeah, 4-bedroom, all ensuite house, big bungalow house, all fenced, designed. This brother was always going for meetings in the UK, so he will bring all sorts of designs from the UK and fix the house properly and make sure that the house was suiting. Of course, the brother became a big boy in Lagos. The sister was living in another state after Ibadan, in Oyo State. Some state after Ibadan. I don't want to mention the state before people start, putting 2 and 2 together. So the brother was, working in Lagos, and the sister was living in the state, close to, after Ibadan, in short. So the brother will only go home weekends. Doesn't know what the ex was doing. This sister was doing. She was living alone. So the brother was always doing this and all that. So the brother now felt like, when the past president of Nigeria got into power, General Buhari, the man came in 6 months. It was a bullshit. He couldn't. Sorry, I'm saying some dirty language here. I'm sorry, but the brother was felt like the president was not doing the right thing. The president was not, it was obvious that the president wasn't going to fix Nigeria properly. So the brother now decided to move overseas. But the quickest country the brother could move to was Australia. So the brother quickly did Australia for himself with the hope that he will get over there and file for the ex to join him. Don't forget, the ex was getting pregnant but was losing the pregnancy. Was getting pregnant but was losing the pregnancy. In fact, there was a point that the sister had ectopic pregnancy. Apparently there was an issue which he told me later, which I'll say. So the brother now filed and he got the Australian papers as a resident. He moved to Australia. On getting to Australia, he quickly started filing for the sister. But unfortunately, to file for a spouse in Australia is way over $7,000 as at that time. Way over $7,000. So he couldn't afford. Why did he go ahead in marrying her after being beaten up? My brother had no boundaries. He thought it was love. This brother thought it was love. He felt like this brother loved this lady. As in, he said he did that. He fell so much in love with the lady. One, she's younger, she's beautiful. She had what he loved in a woman. She had it in excess. So those were the things that were, that was his problem. He was marrying for the wrong reasons. This brother he told me that he didn't even know what is called narcissism until what happened, which I'm getting close to. Just stay tuned. So when the brother now got to Australia and found out that Australia was expensive to bring a spouse to, he had already started Canada before leaving Nigeria. So he now continued Canada, but he didn't continue Canada from Nigeria. He continued from Australia, which was easier. It was a lot easier because if you are in a similar country where you're trying to move, like say you're moving from Australia to Canada, or you're moving from Canada to the US, or moving from the US to Australia, it's a lot easier. Why? Because they can easily get your records, get your police report, get your criminal cases, criminal reports, and all that. So it was a lot easier from Australia to Canada. So their permanent residency request in Canada worked out quicker, cheaper. So this brother left Australia to go and pick his wife in Nigeria to go to Canada. Even when this brother's friends were telling him, the woman that is beating you, you're taking her to Obodo. The woman that is beating you back home, you're taking her to a place where women have more power. You are leaving a better country to a cold country. You are leaving Australia for Canada, where Canada is a place where a lot of people are running away from. Australia is an envy of a lot of people. But this brother, because he was in love, because he loved his wife, because he was always in touch, because even he had opportunities to marry someone else in Australia, he said no, he wasn't going to marry someone else. He has a family. He cannot just, let his family go. Don't forget, this brother was raised in a Christian home, in a deeper life home in Nigeria. So a bit of the doctrine of that church was into him. But a bit of that doctrine, a bulk of that doctrine destroyed his childhood in the sense that he doesn't know boundaries. He felt that if he loved somebody, that is all. That he didn't know that he deserves to be loved back. Because I don't want to stay too long on the live, so when they moved into Canada, he went to Nigeria, they moved to Canada. The moment their plane landed in Toronto, Canada, oh Lord Jesus, he told me that the lady now started showing her true self. She started showing her true self. She started bringing out her real self. Don't forget that while he was in Australia, The lady, he was in Nigeria, was always telling him, look, just do everything. I want to go to Canada. I don't like Australia. Just do everything. I want to go to Canada. I don't. Sorry, you said it's not love. He doesn't learn. I don't agree with that. Yes. So I agree with you, Luciosa. I agree with you completely. So I'm going to the point where when I read his story and when I cracked my brain, because of course I'm coming from this kind of experience, until you learn the lessons you need to learn, you will keep making the mistakes. You keep making the mistakes. You keep making the mistakes over and over again. It wasn't love, it was codependency. I'll get there. Just let me explain. Let me finish the story. So when they got to Canada, the lady now brought out her real self. She now started misbehaving. He said they got to Canada in February. By July, there was already domestic violence. The lady was already trying to make sure that the marriage is over. You know why? The brother told me that the lady had been in touch with the ex that was here in America. The lady had been talking to the ex. That is one. So from the airport, like I said, from the airport, she started misbehaving. So what the brother, of course, is a smart brother now. The brother is 14 years older than her. So he knew from experience that when women get overseas, they will be misbehaving. He said when they got to the airport, he started regretting that, why did I bring this lady here? So he had to devise a way to protect himself. So one of the things he did was he had to set up a camera in the house, and a camera in the house to pick the voice and the action of this lady so that he can have a report to give to the police. When they got to Canada, this lady started finding every means to attack him so that she can call the police on him, so that they can push him out, so that the ex can come back. So now this is what happened. They got there and the brother was like, okay, now we are here. It's a different ball game compared to Nigeria, where I take care of everything. We have a house, we have everything. So I take care of all the little expenses. The brother had already set up a business for this sister, had already set up a couple of other things for the sister. But the little thing, because when the brother was in Australia, he had already told the sister that, okay, look, I don't want you to really, I feel like you don't really need to work for someone. You can actually run your business like you're running it in Nigeria. This is one business that sells very well, that's good when you're overseas, when you have your own traits, when you have your skill. So why don't you learn something in Nigeria that you can come and do in Canada, so that you can be making your money, even right in the house? Because you are trying to get a child. So by the time you have your children, you can be working in the house and can also be raising your children. So the brother sent money for her to go and learn how to make hair. She was already good in making hair, but there were some styles, she said it was some weave-ons that she needed to learn how to make weave-ons, how to do this, how to do that. So the sister learned it. So when they got to Canada, the first thing they did, like what the brother told me, was to go and spread out business cards. The brother did business cards for her, and they started going to all the malls and giving it to every black person that they get to see there and say, take this is what my wife does, this is what my wife does, please come and patronize us and all that. Clients started coming in for the sister. So when the sister was making money, the brother now said, okay, please support me in the house. If you're not going to support me at all, at least be paying the electricity bill for which you are using to make your, you are using to do your business. The wife will vehemently disagree. Will say, no, why will you get to overseas and start, rescinding with your duties? This is what you do back home. Why are you now telling me I have to be doing this, I have to be doing that? I can't be doing this. I cannot join you in paying bills and all that. I would rather do what I please. That what pleases me is what I'm going to do. I'm not going to be doing what you tell me to do. Started causing friction. This brother will make, from paying all the bills, he will still send money to our parents. Don't forget, this brother, unfortunately, as at the time this brother was leaving Australia, this brother had turned out to be an orphan. This brother had lost his father in 2010. This brother had lost his mother in 2017. He was in Australia when the mother died. So this brother and the brothers of this, the siblings of this brother, they are successful on their right. They're doing their thing. They're not on him for anything. So this brother, if he had not had what I tagged black tax, he would have been doing well. He wouldn't have been sending money to anybody. But of course, the wife, the spouse, has siblings and parents or mother that he needed to help. So he was always sending money to them and taking care of them, as well as taking care of the home front. So he was practically doing everything, but the sister was not, helping out. Please, you can like this video so that the algorithm, people can hear about the story, and people can also subscribe to the channel, and they can benefit from this story, to let people know that men also go through pain. So the brother now knew that he had made a blunder. He's committed a big blunder with this. So he now planted camera in the house. He made sure that there's a recording of everything that is going on. So on this fateful day, she brought out her real self. She created a violence, but I asked the brother, what is the reason for the violence? He said that it was just because he got a higher paying job. The brother is a banker, so he got a higher paying job from the one he was doing. He became a manager. He became a manager in the biggest bank in Canada. He told me specifically it was the Royal Bank of Canada. So he got a senior role in the Royal Bank of Canada, which was bringing a lot more money. But the wife, I think it was more of your jealousy of your doing. It's competitive. Like, why should it be you that is doing better than me? So the wife was not happy and all that. Said the wife didn't talk to him for 7 days. Didn't talk to him for 7 days. So the only time when the brother was going to, like, what's going on with you? What's wrong with you? She flared up, caused domestic violence, started, causing problem. Another reason in that July, because he said it specifically, that July was a major time for him. The July, on the 7th of July, was the brother's son's birthday. So because the brother had to set boundaries, brother was wondering, like, you're not supporting me in any way. You're not helping me to pay any bill. So why should I be sending money to your family? So the brother stopped that fund sending. So if the money you're making, send it to your family. I will be taking care of the home front. You take care of your family while I take care of the home front. Like I said, the brother in the former marriage has a son. So on his son's birthday, the brother would always leave an open check for his son. So on this birthday, on this 5th of July, it was the July that was the problem. Now, real well, the July was the specific time of the problem. So this July, the brother said, because he didn't have direct access to his son, because of the ex-wife was trying to make sure that he doesn't have a relationship with the son, the brother will leave an open check for his son and say, ask me anything and I will do it. So on this day, the mother-in-law of this brother also needed rent back in Nigeria. The brother did not leave the money for the rent. Since you're not supporting me in the house, take care of your mother and pay her rent. You're also making money. You're making money from making hair. You're making money from working. She's not only making money from the working. The brother packaged as a CV. She was just a young graduate, but the brother packaged her CV in such a way that it looks like she was a supervisor. Like, she worked in Australia, worked in big places, and she got a good job, apart from doing the business. So, like I told the brother, there's always one side to the story, but I told him to be very frank about this story, because my channel is not about trying to lie against women, or that women are no. This channel is basically about telling the truth, letting people, folks out there know that abuse is real and it knows no gender. The only sad truth about it is that a lot of men keep quiet. A lot of men, they keep it to themselves. They don't want to talk about it. They don't want to share it. But I decided that, okay, I'm going to make sure that this channel gives the opportunity for men to share themselves, so share their story. So this brother now decided to take care of the son's need. It's just once in a year. So this boy will come with a very heavy need, and the brother will, sign up. But the mother-in-law needed to pay rent, but he said no, he wasn't going to do that. The lady flared up. Neighbors had to, call the police in. The brother was trying to run away from the chaos, and run away from, because the brother would always go to work and people would tell him, we know that you're going through something. What is going on? And the brother will always confide in on the older brother and tell him, this is what I'm going on. Somebody would tell him in the office that, look, there are 3 reasons why in Canada you will never get citizenship. 3 reasons. Number 1 reason is that once you have DUI, which is driving under the influence, DUI, you will never get citizenship in this country. The second reason is if you have sexual violence, or you have sexual cases, or you have sexual issues or something, you will never get citizenship in this country. And the third one is abuse, wife abuse, female abuse or something. You will never get citizenship. So this brother was trying to, because he has a career, he was working in the biggest bank in Canada. He was doing well. He doesn't want to tarnish his career. If he gets a record, he's going to, be done for life. He's toast for life. So he was trying to avoid all these things. So this woman was trying to actually tarnish all those things and make sure that it gets stained. So the good thing about it was that he had camera all over the place. So the police, learning from the past and taking accountability is key to healing. I totally agree with this, Empress. I totally agree with that. So he learned from the past. I'm going to get there. So that's why he was able to share the story. He's fully healed now. That is why he decided, he wants the people to know that. So the police came. They saw the video, and the police came to the brother and said, look, we know that women come overseas and feel that the law is in their favor, so they want to take advantage of that and deal with the men. They asked the brother, what do you want us to do with this lady? The brother said she should leave, because the police actually advised on saying she should leave, because with what they saw, she can actually do a lot more harm than good to you. So we don't want anything like that in this place. So they gave her 60 days to leave. Exactly 60 days. The police called the brother and said, has she gone? She had actually moved 60 days later. The brother started hurting. He had invested so much. He left Australia. He didn't want to be divorced the second time. He was sad. He was, it was suicidal. It was going suicidal. He wanted to buy, so it was a pain for him. So in the process of trying to heal himself, he was going, ballistic. The office, because he was working the biggest bank in Canada, so the office helped him with a therapist, which I will share the link much later. The office helped him with a therapist. He was able to get a therapist. In the process of healing, the cousin called him and said, take your ex back. It's not good. You can't, there's no angel out there. There's no this, there's no that. Don't do this. Because he loved him, he wasn't fully healed. He took her back. To cut the long story short, it was during the COVID period. It was during the George Floyd killing in Black Lives Matter in America. They were now living together under that COVID, period. Nobody was going anywhere. Everybody was working indoors. Hey, it became worse. The sister became worse. In fact, he could not go and tell the police that he took her back, because the police had told him that she should never come back, because these are the kind of women that want to, take advantage of the system to deal with their husband. So he could not go back to the police. In fact, the brother told me that his vice president in the office had warned him that don't take such women back. Such women don't listen, they don't change. Somebody who is grown over 18 will never change, no matter what you do. That's who they are. The vice president of the guy in the office had that experience, and he had already known that is what those kind of women do. Unfortunately, the brother took her back. She became worse. It was a terrible time. So the brother had to withdraw a couple of things. He said he withdrew some things that made the house comfortable for her. She wasn't partaking in taking care of the home. She wasn't partaking in paying any bill or anything. So the brother stopped putting food in the house. The brother stopped paying for the internet. The brother stopped paying for everything that was making the house comfortable. Then she was feeling very uncomfortable because, one, the food was getting exhausted in the house. The brother would take her to work and take her back, take her to work and go and take her back, go and take her to work and take her back. The brother had to stop it without putting any gas. The brother would drive, he said he would drive 30 minutes to the work to go and drop her. Meanwhile, the brother will resume at home because she was still working on site. But the brother will resume back in the office, online in the office. So the brother would quickly go and drop her, rush back. The brother would drive again to go and pick her to bring her back. That is like 1 hour one way, 1 hour back and forth. So that's about 2 hours drive without any contribution to this. A lot of other things like that this brother was doing. When she came back, that was the second time. But she felt like that was the brother's right to take care of everything. So the lesson I learned from, I'll summarize with the lesson, but let me just finish the story. So the brother now made the house very uncomfortable for her. The money she's been saving, she took a lot of government grants, all these COVID grants, she got it. She now went to get a place. But when she came back the second time, she started demanding things that if I'm going to come back to you, I'm going to get this, I'm going to get this, So one of the things she demanded from the brother was a laptop. So it was a laptop. She got a laptop from the brother. She just used the laptop for maybe, she doesn't really like to use it. She's somebody who likes to rather make hair, do hair and all that. So she's not a techie person. So she was not really using the laptop. It was just greed, that made her demand for a laptop. It was that laptop she was using to communicate with the ex who was in America. So when the house was so very uncomfortable for her, she moved out to get a place and all that. But the brother took the laptop from her, like, you're not really using this laptop. There's no point you taking it away because there's no point. The sewing machines that are bought for you, every other thing that bought for you, you can take them away. This laptop, you just asked for the laptop based on greed. That, okay, I have a tablet, the brother has a tablet, and you want to, because I'm having a tablet, you also must have a laptop and all that. So there's no point you taking the laptop. Unfortunately for the brother, the secret to all our misbehaviors and all this nonsense she was doing was in the laptop. On the laptop, the brother found all the communication with the ex-boyfriend, how they plan to do when she gets to Canada, how they're going to come back together. Apparently, the boyfriend in America doesn't have papers. So because she became a permanent resident of Canada through the brother, she can actually file for the boyfriend so that they can be together and they can continue their lives, together. So everything was in that laptop. The laptop was the brother's saving grace. Fortunately, the brother, who could not heal, met a Kenyan lady. The Kenyan lady, they were having a good time. And the Kenyan lady was like, how could any lady leave a kind guy like you? How could any lady leave a man like you? What happened? So when the brother now narrated what happened to the Kenyan lady had dated a white man who was having the same kind of issue. The Kenyan lady now told the brother, have you ever heard of the word narcissism? The brother was like, what is narcissism? He said, you went through a narcissistic relationship. That was a problem. That was how this brother was saved. that was how his eyes was open. He found out that it was in narcissism, it was in the knowledge of narcissism that he found out that he had been a codependent, he had been a people pleaser, he had never had boundaries. He was marrying rubbish. He was marrying for the least of reasons. So he told me that he had to go to the school of narcissism. He went to the school of narcissism. He went to school specifically to learn mental health, youth mental health. This brother had to go back to his childhood to go and heal his childhood. The childhood that was why the topic of this show is saying how his childhood was affected. So his childhood, his upbringing in the church, not saying that the church, I'm not saying the church is bad. I'm saying that the way he was raised in the church, he was raised to believe that, oh, do good with all men. Without holiness, no man shall please the Lord. Fantastic. But do with all men with sense. You don't just do with all men, just doing just anyhow. You do with all men with sense. So this brother learned that he was a people pleaser. He was just without boundaries. So now he had healed. He had learned well enough about narcissism. He is not so keen about getting married, but of course, if he's going to be settling down, he is going to do due diligence. This is the story of this brother. The lessons that I was able to, deduce from this is that one should be careful how we raise our children. The way we raise our children is very crucial. Let their childhood be their childhood. Let them have the best of life. Let them mix with people. Let them play. Let them tell you. Let them be open to speak with you. Be receptive to them. Be able to accommodate them. Don't always shout on them. Be available to children. Let them see you as their go-to. This brother was not having a very good relationship with the parents because the mother didn't love him. The father knows nothing more than the Bible and going to heaven, and he doesn't even know that. Even the overseer of his church, the children were not even in Nigeria. The children were overseas, while the children of the followers are in Nigeria, wallowing in poverty and suffering. Meanwhile, their children are getting the best of educations overseas. The brother now is almost 50 and he's just overseas now trying to get his footing. His career has been on turmoil, because he was marrying wrong reason for wrong reasons. If he had stabilized, maybe in Australia, if he had had a good wife, if he had stabilized over there, or even if it is Canada and he has stabilized there, I'm sure his career would have been, going the way it should go. But the brother was, marriage was a major downfall for him. But today he's healed, he's fine, and he's doing quite well. He just shared the story with me, and I decided that I'm going to bring it on to let people know that men also go through pain. Men also go through a lot of challenges in marriage, and I believe that if speaking about it is also therapy, and talking about it is also a way of healing others. Is a way of letting the outside world know that men go through this as well. I will be ending the story here, but right now, let me conclude like this: that the brother is currently healed. He knows a lot more about what he has gone through. He has discovered himself. He has discovered that his childhood was a problem. He has gone to therapy, and he's advocating that men also go, for therapy. And I believe with that, people will choose rightly. People will choose their partners rightly. People will, everyone, not just man, women too, will choose their partner rightly, and they'll be able to have a very successful marriage. For me, to end the show, Don't go into marriage for the wrong reasons. Marry your friend. Date someone. He told me that his therapist warned him that it is important to know someone in all seasons. Whoever you're going to marry, know them in all of the seasons. You know them when it is winter, know them when it is fall, know them when it is summer, know them when it is spring. Not literally the weather, but know them when it is good, know them when it is bad, know them when it is rosy, know them when it is not rosy. You'll be able to get informed decisions before you settle down in getting married to anyone. I think this will be the end of my story. This will be the end of the brother's story. There's another story that I'm working on that will come up maybe in the next 2 weeks. It's another very hot story, but I don't want to, I'll put the advert on my channel very soon. This story is a little bit hotter than this one, but I'm still trying to digest it so that I don't have to be reading when I'm talking about it. Thank you very much for listening in. I want you to like, I want you to share, and I want you to subscribe. The only way people can hear about other people's story, at least other men's story, is by liking it, by subscribing, and by sharing. Thank you very much for listening in. My name once again is Abiodun, and thank you for coming, and do enjoy the rest of your day wherever you're listening from. And if you're going to, listen to the playback, please put your comment there. I think the comment will help in, addressing subsequent videos. It will help in, bringing out very good content. And if you tell us about your experience as well, we will be able to learn from it, share to every other person. You can always reach us on WhatsApp if you have any story to tell. It's +1 340 496 8539. And you can also send it via email, edenpaintsIndiaspora@gmail.com. Thank you, everyone. Do enjoy the rest of your day. Bye-bye.